Hello, everybody. How's your weekend going? Hopefully it's going relatively well on this late fall weekend. You got to enjoy this last little piece of the fall here because before you know it, blasting Mariah Carey music, people are dreaming of a white, wintry Christmas and stuff like that. Not me. I enjoy every morsel of the fall. However, I was wondering the other day, why don't you see people raking anymore? I'm not talking about raking chips on this Odd Shopper channel, which we try to do every single day, but I'm talking about an old school raker on the street, raking on their front lawn and then gathering it in a big bag. And then if it was around Halloween time, they put it in an orange pumpkin bag and they displayed that. Next to the jack-o'-lantern, there was a bag full of Leafs jack-o'-lantern. It's all gone. What the hell happened? Raking is down 80%. Household raking. I'm talking about family members raking. It's been outsourced. I don't know. Anyway, we got some Sunday bets to look at here. And when you watch these NFL games nowadays, it's like when you watch the X Games, it's like, wait, this is a sport now? Oh, wait, this is a record now? If you were watching that Cowboys game last week, they said CeeDee Lamb tied a record. What the hell record is that? Most consecutive games with 10 catches and 150 yards in a row. And I didn't know. I'm like, I didn't know that. Who did he beat? Here's what you need to know is that they kept CeeDee Lamb in there after Dak was already pulled just to make sure that he got to that milestone. And now something that we talked about yesterday on Francess and Friends, I brought this up with Nick. Well, if they left him in there to get to that milestone, which tied the record, doesn't that show their hand that they're cognizant of the record? I don't know. I really don't know, but I think so. I'm going to start you with, I'm coming out with a Pirates parlay to start the day. Starting your day with a Pirates parlay.
Ye be sniffing a parlay.
There's a really important reason that you guys should have Odd Shopper. A, so you can watch my videos. B, so that you can shop some odds. Because I brought this up on Francess and Friends yesterday, and one of my main guys on Twitter sent me a screenshot. Goes, Andy, I found the 10 catches, 150 yards. Look at this. Look at these odds. So over plus 2,000. I happen to put that same thing on FanDuel plus like 825. You gots to be shopping odds, people. But how about we go for this record we didn't even know existed 2 weeks ago? You got CeeDee Lamb, 10 catches, 150 yards. I know it's wild. I'm only going for it. They're either going to be chasing that record or not. I think you'll know by the end of the first quarter if they're on their way. But let's just put that right out there now. Over plus 2,000. If you shop those odds, 10 catches, 150 yards, he breaks the record that you or I didn't even know existed a couple of weeks back. And you also saw Shanahan leave McCaffrey in to try to get that touchdown record. So these teams are cognizant of those records. But also, I'll take the over on CeeDee Lamb receiving anyway. This is multiple consecutive games, and we started it here. Do you remember that? Remember when CeeDee Lamb was all the way down to like 67, and we blasted that against the Chargers? Well, it's just been up and up and up and up, and he is murdering it out there. He's now thrust himself into that alpha receiver because there was no Amari Cooper was the true number one. Now, CeeDee Lamb's been killing it, and I'm going to continue to ride that wave. I don't mind riding the wave if I started on it. You know, it kills me if I'm ever at a casino. I rarely ever go to casinos, but when I go there, I try to sniff out a run on roulette. I'm sniffing out an even run. And I'll hit 1 even, 2 evens, 3 evens, 4. And then some guy just drifts over. Oh, let me get on this even run. It doesn't work like that. You're going to ruin the whole thing. He who starts the run can enjoy the run until its conclusion. He who hops on a wave in mid-wave destroys the wave for him, for me. You know, you ever seen that? Those wave videos, people in Hawaii who fight you for trying to steal their wave? Well, maybe we got to implement that. With CeeDee Lamb, I'm taking the over on his receiving. Don't think I forgot about Brandon Cooks. We were 1 week too early. So we're allowed to get back on this wave. We were in the wave off the, but they go, okay, you were in earlier, let's get in. He clearly has developed as the second wide receiver option in this offense. Yes, we took him 2 weeks ago and it was a dud, but the 2 games before that, you go, oh, here we go. He was brought in to be their down the field option, and he's been good everywhere he's been. 1,000 yards with multiple consecutive teams. It's taken a little while to get going here in Dallas. Look at these last couple of games, especially last week, a full blow up. I think they'll continue to work on that connection, and they got his total pretty damn low. So give me the over on Brandon Cooks receiving yards. Plenty of same game parlay possibilities in that one. You can take the over on CD, even if you don't want to go 150, over 100 on CD, 50 plus for Cooks. And then look who's back in there. He's won us 2 straight weeks, 2 straight bets, and they're not raising his number. Give me Chubba Hubbard over 12.5 receiving yards. Great number for him. 2 straight weeks. That was an OS premium pick. Came through for us. And what I love is when their picks meet my sniffs and we go on a nice little run. So that will conclude the Cowboys selections for you. A couple other players. There's a guy, you've heard his name, I've heard his name, we've won on him, we've lost on him. But the thing that I really like, and this was something else I talked about on Francess and Friends yesterday, because Nick is obviously a huge Dolphins fan. This is the healthiest you're getting Jalen Waddle. Full week of participation in practice, no limited walkthrough. Full practice all week long, coming after a bye. And as I was talking about on my DFS show, I think the Miami Dolphins want to reimpose that elite status that was built up when they were like 4-0 earlier in the season, where they were throwing absolute massacres to teams like the Broncos on their home field. Wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those. We have a relatively low total for Waddle, so I'll take the over. If you're a regular guy, you say, I don't need all this crazy stuff. Just give me a pretty good over on Jalen Waddle. But you want to bump that up to 75 plus yards? No problem with that at all. And I know you in the deep back, you're going to click 100. I see you. I know you're clicking 100, and I know you're taking 75 on Cooks. Go ahead. But I do like Jalen Waddle in that game. There's a potential shootout if you look at the projected point total, and if you're on the DFS circuit, a lot of people looking at that Bears-Detroit game. I always love an indoor game. It always feels like it can go a little wild. Justin Fields murdered the Lions on the ground in their 2 games last season. He's coming back. We don't know exactly what version we're going to get from him, but we do know the Bears weirdly have a good run defense. And I still think the Lions are going to be able to get theirs. Amon-Ra is going to get his, but give me Laporta, who we're getting a good total at. I'll take the over on Sam Laporta receiving yards against the Chicago Bears. And you saw what Goff did last week against the Chargers, and we know how Goff has been traditionally in these home games. So give me the over on Laporta's receiving yards. Another one of my favorite play. This is a Weasley DFS play, but last week I told you that the Niners were a guy in jail who hasn't been on a date in years. That's what it's felt like for them, losing those close games, hearing the media scrutiny, having the buys. They brought in Chase Young, and they absolutely massacred a playoff team, one of the favorites out of the AFC in the Jaguars, massacred them. That looks like earlier in the year Niners, where you had a week 1 massacre against the Steelers, and they followed up with continued massacres. And they're playing a Buffalo team. I never take double-digit favorites. You almost never hear it out of my mouth. But if I do it with a guy who's been in jail for a long time, going on his 2nd date. I will take the Niners in this one, but my favorite play in there is Brandon Ayuk. If you look at this defense on the Bucs, where are they most vulnerable? It's no secret, through the air. They had a nice game last week. It's against Will Levis. Will Levis was on the road. We don't even know how good he is. As you know, he's a rookie. He had a good first game, hung in there the 2nd game, and then got cracked in the 3rd game. But look at this Tampa Bay defense before last week in that one home game against a rookie quarterback. Absolutely destroyed by CJ Stroud, absolutely destroyed by Josh Allen. And I mean destroyed. So when you look at the possibilities on the San Francisco side, last week I talked about Debo catching passes behind the line of scrimmage and high percentage completions. And when it comes to Shanahan, I always feel like they get it to Debo in games where they're playing tougher defenses, tougher defensive lines that can get to their quarterback, and they just want to get it out of Purdy's hands. In a game like this where he's going to be able to survey the field, give me the wide receiver running deeper routes down the field. That's Brandon Ayuk. Give me the over on Brandon Ayuk's receiving yards. And Pirates, you can take alts on this one, whether it's 75 plus, 90 plus, dare I say 100 plus. But I love me some Brandon Ayuk in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And one last player that I really like coming off of a 1-week injury is Nico Collins. I talked about him a couple weeks back. Nico Collins, his numbers, they got up there towards like the 60s and whatnot, but Tank Dell's obviously had this emergence, and Noah Brown, since Collins kind of was out of the lineup. This is a great spot for Collins at home against the Arizona Cardinals, and they will have Kyler Murray back. I don't know why I just mentioned that unnecessarily. And he was back last game, so I don't even know why I said that to begin with. But Nico Collins has a total of 55.5. That's a great area for me. He's still their number one receiver. Tank Dell is great. He truly is. I'm starting to believe he's going to be like the next Amon-Ra St. Brown type of player. But Nico Collins has proven himself this year, and he draws so many targets. We're going to have no Noah Brown, who's broke out these last couple of weeks. And Robert Woods isn't really going to siphon too many targets. So we're back to the Dell and Nico show. And against a vulnerable defense, in my opinion, in the Cardinals, I think this is a good time to bet against him. So give me the over on Nico Collins receiving yards. I also want to go back to Jalen Waddle for a second, because if that is an absolute beating and you take an alt over for Jalen Waddle, like the 75 plus, I also think you can take Davante Adams in junk time. If you look how many targets that Davante Adams was getting, they made a point to get him as many as possible. But think about the junk time. What if they're down, unless they pull Davante Adams, what if they're down 4 touchdowns in the second half or something like that? They're probably going to keep their receivers in there to help their rookie quarterback. So you think about all the junk receptions that Davante Adams can get. So I actually wouldn't mind doing the over 75 for Jalen Waddle and the over 75 for Davante Adams, and even just the over in general, I forgot to mention, for Davante Adams. You put those two together, you're going to get a pretty damn good price, and I know some of the Pirates are going to do them both at 100. Why not? Especially when you can go to Caesars and put that in, and your bet will be risk-free if you're a new user over here. Yeah, that's right. Huge plus money parlays. Your first bet at Caesars up to $1,000 is going to be risk-free as long as you're a new user on the platform, over 21 and located in a state or a province where sports betting is legal and has Caesars Sportsbook. You can get all the specifics in the description of this video down below, and obviously also a link that will take you there. But make sure that if you have a gambling problem, anybody you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Somebody will try to help you through some of those issues as I help you through your Sunday. Good luck to you. Best luck to me. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Shopper channel here. Always appreciated. Enjoy all you guys and your feedback, both good and bad. No, not really. But you know how it goes. It comes with the territory, man. I will be back with you guys tomorrow to talk about Monday Night Football. A good one, we hope. Let's hope no freakish quarterback injuries in the first half or anything like that. And I will talk to you then. See you later.